In the vast desert of YouTube, where content creators are ruthlessly competing for the subscriber count, very few have been able to hook people and keep them interested, like MrBeast. The name itself has a lot to say with virals, staggering giveaways, and an obsession with extraordinary feats. Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast, didn't just wake up one day to find himself successful, he built it. Beginning as a little channel back in 2012, it has now become an international business that has grown way beyond merely being a video sharing platform. MrBeast is the captain of the ship, a digital visionary whose reach is not only in the realm of YouTube. MrBeast's beginnings can be traced back to the town of Greenville, North Carolina. Jimmy Donaldson was born on May 7, 1998, and, like every other child of his age, he used YouTube as his source of entertainment. His passion was gaming, and like everyone else, he was a dreamer. He had a greed for knowledge and the ability to understand the platform and how it worked. He also paid attention to what was being done, what didn't work, and what could be done instead. From the very beginning, he was different from the rest in the way Jimmy did. He had a determination that would not allow him to stop, create, and innovate, as well as enhance what he had developed. It was this relentless drive that would eventually lead to his breakthrough. We can watch the counting to 100,000 videos that went viral many times, mostly where he was once seen to take more than 40 hours to do one. This was MrBeast, and he was here for the long haul. Understanding the fact that the novelty wore thin rather quickly, anything went. But what was fundamental to MrBeast was his realization that people are evolving in how they utilize content within the notable dynamic environment of the World Wide Web. It is for this reason that MrBeast ventured in this direction, focusing on creating videos that his audiences could touch. His early success was built on a simple but effective formula. In doing what no one else is doing, one needs to show achievement of an intention to be effective. Whether he was sitting in a bathtub full of snakes, spending 24 hours in the world's largest pizza, or tipping a waitress with tens of thousands of dollars, his video content was planned to get the audience to laugh out loud, to gasp, or to look away in disbelief. Every single video was thought out and filmed with a practical knowledge of what the audience would like to see. MrBeast was not just making videos, he was making happenings the viewers felt they were included in. It made his videos not only watchable but also rewatchable and created a fan base among the emerging phenomenon of social media producers. Generally, he then expanded the size of his video productions in parallel with the growth of his YouTube channel readership. From relatively simple tasks, they turned into enormous visuals requiring complex preparation, massive enlistment of people, and prize pools in the millions. MrBeast was no longer a mere YouTuber but the chief entertainer of his own company. This evolution of content was fueled by one thing: reinvestment. MrBeast has always explained that he often spends almost all the incomes that accrue to the channel to fund the content. This has empowered him to set up progressively larger challenges that keep his fans in suspense. What sets MrBeast's content apart from others is its randomness. In contrast with conventional media, where formats are rigid and audiences know what to expect, his videos are complex. One week he will be constructing the biggest Lego tower ever, the next week, he will be granting people an island. That is a recipe that not only preserved his channel but also turned him into one of the most discussed personalities on the web. As you know, MrBeast is best known for his jaw-dropping giveaways and outrageous stunts, but there's another side to his brand that is equally important: his image as a philanthropist. This aspect of his personality has not only made him a beloved personality of millions of people but has also changed the type of media content producer in the scope of the internet and new media technologies. MrBeast's initial outreach was door-to-door generosity. The first few videos involved giving money to homeless shelters, making massive cash tips, and funding struggling businesses. But with the growth of the new channel, there appeared to be new opportunities for charity as well. In 2019 alone, he began a project of planting 20 million trees in collaboration with the Arbor Day Foundation, for which he mobilized over $20 million within the first 3 months. This initiative recorded a lot of positive impact on the environment and enlisted the support of the online community. The creative aspect of him MrBeast didn't end there. Since then, he has come up with several other charity projects, such as #TeamSeize and a food drive for the needy in the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. Through these activities, MrBeast has made himself not only an influential influencer but also a man who can change the world. His charitable kindness involves more than the internet. He has shown us that digital influence is a force for good. That is how he benchmarked being a responsible, famous, and influential person in the 21st century. Such a level of giving comes with its own set of penalties. To execute these mammoth philanthropic appeals, what is also needed besides funds are people's time, resources, and organizational support. For anyone else, it is a hard thing to achieve. For MrBeast, it is just a regular day at work. As we know, in any event, several key people assist in actualizing the dream of an empire. In the case of MrBeast, this inner circle is modeled by the friends and co-players who worked with him in the initial stages of his career. These are not mere employees, but partners of a sort, each is an individual with their input and vision on the material. Many of the personalities associated with MrBeast's projects are familiar faces, such as Chris Tyson, Chandler Hallow, Carl Jacobs, and others who have become mainstays of the operation. Their interactions and the pleasant vibe that the viewers see on the screen are major reasons why the material is being appreciated. Yet, off-camera, they are even more invaluable. Still, it seems that despite the increase in the size of the team, the problems and obstacles are also bigger. It becomes challenging to find enough ways to coordinate and communicate with the management. As we will get to explore in the next chapter, such hurdles have not infrequently caused tensions within the team. In the last several months, the MrBeast channel has seen more controversy than it ever has before. Several cases of abuse and toxicity at the workplace, high demands placed on employees, and expectations to post content when lacking energy were reported, and it all was deemed to be damaging the $20 billion man's squeaky clean image as reports of mistreatment are investigated. With that, the question of how many people have been negatively impacted and sacrificed in the creation and sustenance of a digital giant needs to be asked. In addition to this, the allegations first came into the limelight in the first quarter of 2024 when former employees of MrBeast exposed the ill deeds that they had to face when serving with MrBeast. They spoke of a stressful working culture that involved working long hours, meeting deadlines, and maintaining high standards. Some argue that the pressure to pursue excellence exerts a positive effect on one's psychological and physical well-being. MrBeast has quite actively spoken out on these allegations to the public, claiming to be devoted to his team and all the operations they do. That is something he has admitted has been a challenge given the extent of the operation, but he has been keen to run a friendly environment. That being said, such statements have been received in the court of public opinion with different approvals. The question now is, can MrBeast avoid the pitfalls of the larger platform without losing what made him so popular in the first place? Will the empire he made out of nothing but goodwill and optimism sustain the storm, or will the issues the book has hinted at dismantling it? These allegations have surely shaken MrBeast's business empire in some way, though it is still evolving. Of course, his subscriber count and total views are still high, but there is a new underlying tone of distrust among the audience as well as the doubter. The company that was associating itself with such noble values as generosity and positive energy is now being examined in ways it would have never been examined before. Although the emphasized focus is the statistical outcome, the effect is not limited to numbers. What is more, he has lost the confidence of the audience that once followed him blindly. It raises the question, can a brand of excessiveness, generosity, and kindness survive a more critical audience? Some of these questions are not purely theoretical, they are relevant to MrBeast and his further existence. People and organizations who use him as a role model and have invested a lot of money in sponsoring him and his image may now think twice. In an era where those who create content have been encouraged to always be switched on, not just entertaining but also inspiring people, there is likely to be a blurring of boundaries between what is private and what is public. For someone like MrBeast, whose brand identity is almost entirely tied to the person himself, this blurring of edges has put personal and business problems in the same box. As the things around begin to settle, one thing is clear: you have come across in the story that MrBeast is a continuing narrative. Whether he will be even more powerful and energetic after this chapter, or if this is the beginning of the end of his YouTube dominance, we don't yet know. But there is one definite thing: yes, this is a story that will remain hot for quite a few years, especially for the audience of the contemporary world. The cost of success is a concept that one could fairly relate to MrBeast's story. From rags to riches in less than a decade, but the same isn't true for the toll the company has taken on its employees as well as its financial gains and losses. This probably drove MrBeast to the edge, if not over it, because people desire to produce more content and gain more subscribers in less than an hour. What about the need to stay popular in a world that is developing at the speed of light, and most of what was popular the day before may seem irrelevant the following day? In the case of MrBeast, innovation also poses risks, at least that prevents Jimmy from falling behind his competition and the booming YT community. Is it possible for MrBeast to maintain such a fine pace of content delivery? Is it possible to maintain a high level of goodwill and idealistic framing of a brand and, at the same time, maintain one's health and the health of the team? These are issues that MrBeast will have to consider in his developing career in the future. As we stand at this crossroads, we can only watch and wonder, where next for the $20 billion man? Can MrBeast regain the trust of the audience in himself and thus remain one of the most popular and recognizable authors on the planet? Or is the strain of an empire too much for his character, and will he end his journey with such a bang that he is deemed a legend? Only time will tell. In the meantime, there are definite indications that MrBeast is gradually adjusting to the emerging environment of his enterprise. The size of the audience he is holding shows him that the work cannot be done single-handedly and that recognition must be divided likewise. MrBeast's entire operation might rely on his capacity to reinvent himself. To maintain this position, MrBeast will require the splitting of more and more boundaries on YouTube and the open web. It might mean experimenting with new forms, new types of material, and perhaps even new media businesses. Telling the story of MrBeast is the best way to show how crucial digital influence is, but it is also a story of the virtues behind success, the efforts that were taken, and the conflicts between the principles and pressures incessantly involved. One thing is certain: the world will be watching. So, as we close this chapter, we leave you with a question: what do you think? Will MrBeast rise above the controversy and continue to redefine what's possible on YouTube? Or has his success already clouded his judgment, leading to a turning point in his career? The answers lie in the next chapter of this thrilling saga, a chapter that has yet to be written.